Hello, hello everyone. Hi Vignette. Hello. Hi everyone. Hi Maria, Rosso, Anya, hi. I'm trying to pin the topic as usual. Bear with me guys for a second. Yes. Okay. I think it's there now. Let me see where Frank is. Okay. Hi, Robin. Hi. Frank. Hello. Hello, Frank. Can you hear me? Frank? 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 Can you hear me? No? You don't hear me?
I don't hear anything.
Oops. Okay.
Do you hear me?
What about now? You don't hear me?
I hear nothing.
Okay. Can people hear me? Or is it only Frank?
Good evening.
I hear you.
Irem, I don't hear you.
You don't hear me? Okay, so I think it may be you. You can hear me? People can hear me?
Hello?
Yes, people can hear me. It's you who's not hearing me, Frank. It's you.
I
So
hear you
let's do
very
this.
weak. Very weak.
How about if you turn up the volume?
I did.
Yeah? Because everyone can hear both me and you, but you cannot hear me. So maybe we can try again.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can go and then come back again. Sorry guys, we have a problem, Frank. So I'm waiting for him to join again. Okay, let me see. Hello, Sergio, Jaume. Hi, Frank. Can you hear me now?
Very weak.
Yeah.
Just yes.
I don't know why, because
No.
I think everyone can hear me and you well, except you. You use the same device as usual, no?
Wait. I know what the problem was.
What was it?
I was just listening to music, so it's still connected Bluetooth to my earbuds.
Frank.
Good. But
Okay.
funny enough, I don't get you in stereo actually, but that's okay.
But you hear me now, right?
I do.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And you hear me, right?
I hear you, and everyone can hear us both well. Okay, great.
Very good.
So look, finally I'm in a spring mode. There's sun, and I'm not wearing my wool sweater anymore.
Good.
And as many people were complaining for me that I don't drink in my during my sessions, now today I'm with a glass of sparkling.
Corpinnat?
Yes, Corpinnat. I'm gonna reveal what
I don't believe you.
Should I show you? Do you think it's water?
No,
sparkling water?
I believe you.
I'll show you. Yes.
Very good.
You know this one, like 225.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about this later.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about Corpinnat. So, before starting the topic right away, I will suggest something this week, today. So far, we were always,
talking about a topic, like choosing a topic and discussing about the topic and sometimes debating about the topic. I think Corpinnat is a topic where we can discuss and debate really well. It can be even a controversial topic. But I think there are many people, they don't know what Corpinnat is yet, because once I published the topic, I received many questions. What is Corpinnat? Is it a DO? Is it a brand? What is the difference of Corpinnat and Cava? So maybe we can just start. We can do a brief introduction, no? Like some explain what it is and history, a little bit of the history of Corpinnat.
Yeah, sure. Shall I start?
Yeah, be my guest.
Yeah, okay. So Corpinnat, I think the foundations were laid 3 years ago. Yeah, probably around then. Yeah.
I think officially 2017, but it started between 15 and 16, no? The whole idea.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. So the idea was originally to bring together, I think, 6 quality cava producers, all based in and around San Sadurní da Noia. That was the original idea. And it didn't go much further than that from the start. But soon the idea got more exciting, and actually the wish grew to look for more visibility, more publicity for Corpinnat. Actually, the name Corpinnat, which actually means the heart of Penedès. Cor means heart, and Pinnat is an old word for Penedès. And the idea, actually, the name was registered in the European Union, so that you can see it now as let's say an official brand. And then trouble started, because the idea was to be cava producers, but to have an association called Corpinnat, and actually also put the name Corpinnat on the label. And this created a big discussion with the Consejo Regulador de Cava, who did not agree. And they said you cannot put 2 brands, you cannot put an extra brand on your label. It's not allowed. Well, I will not yet give my opinion about that, but that's how it started. Then and now we're talking about 1.5 years ago, I would say last winter. Slowly but steadily, discussions were becoming more and more sour, because basically the Corpinnat producers, well, they were threatened to be kicked out if they would put Corpinnat on the label. And in that group there were a few hardliners who said, well, you know what, we don't care, then we leave the DO Cava. But not everybody agreed on that yet at that stage. But finally the Consejo Regulador took a very hard stance, and in January 2019, so a bit more than a year ago now, they said, you know what, actually we are forbidding the whole concept of Corpinnat anyway. So not just putting it on the label, but we don't want you to have this association. And that was actually, I think, the moment that all the Corpinnat members agreed, not just the hardliners, but they all agreed, you know what, I think now it is time to leave the DO Cava and continue without that. Since then, Corpinnat has grown, because they now have, if I am well informed, 9 members and
10.
There's
1 more addition, joined? Yeah, okay. 10 now, officially is 10. If I'm not wrong, it's 10.
Well, I was told in March, during Wine Barcelona, or February, that number 10 was on its way, okay. and I even heard confidentially who number 10 was, but I'm not sure if that really happened.
So let me count. Torreyo, Gramona, Racaredo, Nadal, Yopart, Sabatei Coca, Huguet Canfeix, Julia Bernet, Mascandi, and Descregut.
And?
Descregut.
Okay, well, I heard someone else, confidentially, so I'm not going to say who that is, but that's probably going to be number 11 then. Yeah.
Okay, exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But basically, it means that if you, I mean, you also, there's also, of course, Raventós i Blanc, which is another top producer that left the DO already many more years ago. They're not Corpinnat, of course. They don't want to join, or maybe not yet. I don't know. But it basically means that from all the high quality producers of cava, almost all have left the DO. Yeah. And that's Corpinnat. Yeah.
That's Corpinnat. So. Yeah, now we explained what is Corpinnat, high-end quality producer, a collective European brand with the aim of maybe distinguishing the great quality and the terroir and origin. At the moment, there are 9 people, 9 bodegas, wineries. So what do you think? Why? I mean, you started already with the Raventós i Blanc. You mentioned that they left the cava, DO cava, and then afterwards we had classic Penedès, and around 2013 and 2017 we had Paraje Calificado, I think it was. And then it was not even satisfying, and now we have Corpinnat. Why do you think there was a whole need of this changes or like creating something new in cava?
I think that's very simple. I think I see the bigger picture behind it, and the bigger picture is that in the big successful DOs from the past. And I'm particularly thinking of Rioja, Jerez, and Cava. I mean, Cava is less old than Rioja and Jerez, but nevertheless, it's a very big and very important DO. All these DOs go back. How should I say that? They have until recently, like all Spanish wines, by the way, all Spanish wine regions were carried by the very big producers. Let's not forget that until the late 1980s, the concept of estate wine in Spain didn't exist. It just didn't exist. There were in Rioja, which is for me the example in case, in the whole of Rioja, the most important wine region in Spain, there were only 2 estates, Contino and Remeyori, until the late 80s. And this is this is the historical past of Spain. It is as it is. But then, starting in the 1990s, Spain began to change. The Spanish wine scene began to change, and we saw the rise of the estate wines. Now, this is a process that France and Italy also went through in the past, changing from, let's say, a market which is dominated by cooperatives and big houses, and where grower wines, estate wines, begin to take their place. But in what happened in Spain, and in that respect, I think Spain was a bit different from the other 2 countries, was that actually the big producers, the big houses, especially from the past, basically they decided what happened inside the Consejo Reguladores. If you take, for example, the DO Cava, the Consejo Regulador of Cava is usually, the presidency is usually either in the hands of Cordoniu or in the hands of Freixenet. And it basically means that in this very important DO, 2 companies basically decide what happens. Now, this is already quite strange, because in France you wouldn't see that. I mean, let's take Champagne, Moet et Chandon, or take it bigger, Moet Hennessy, the whole group with all the Champagne brands they have. They do not decide what happens in Champagne. They do not have that position. They're influential, sure, but they do not run the area. But in Cava, we have this crazy situation that basically 2 very big producers run the region, decide what happens.
And also, can we add the third name, Garcia Carrion?
Yeah, of course. Well, that's a relative newcomer, but yes, absolutely. Basically, if you take these 3 together, you've got what, like more than 70% of cava production, something like that. So it's crazy. And And in Rioja, by the way, it's not much different. In Rioja, for a long time, my good friends of Bodegas y Bebidas occupied the presidency of the Rioja area because they are by far the biggest producer, which is now Pernod Ricard Spain. Not at the moment, but they did for a long time. So what you see in these situations is that actually what happens is that the big ones decide what happens, and actually the whole wine legislation is adapted to the needs of the big producers. And their biggest need is to have sufficient supply of grapes at low prices. And that is very contradictory to the concept of high quality Cava, Rioja, Jerez, whatever. So sure, but the point is that in every wine region, a region needs to find a balance between the big ones and the small ones. There should be mutual respect, and there should be a legislation that can satisfy the needs of both. And this is what is utterly failing in the classic Spanish wine regions. And this is, and now we go back to Cava, and this is why, I mean...
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm seeing now Requerado, Torello, and Sabetti Coco, they're all doing this to you at the moment.
Yeah, but that's it's the way it is. And and
hi to them, by the way, from here.
Yes, hi everybody. They're all good friends. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So basically, you know, for example, if I go back to Rioja, in the beginning I did not really understand why my a good friend Juan Carlos López de la Calle, why he left with Artadi the Consejo Regulador, but after a while I understood. I understood why he left the DOC in Rioja, because there are too many things happening which are basically unacceptable for those people who want to produce high quality, who want a high quality image for the whole area. And look at what happened with Cava last year. The three big ones pushed the prices of grapes down to, what was it, 26 cents per kilo?
Yeah, 26,
which is awful, awful. And they just decided that, you know, and
also here, here also in part of the Corpinnat, apart from like being only coming from Penedès and certain rules and so on, but they also do fair trade, and they fix the minimum price. I mean, I think 90% of their production needs to come from their own estates, but I think they can buy up to maximum 10% or 15%, something like that, from long-term agreements, and they fix the minimum grape price with 75 cents, something like that. Please, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but like they're also doing fair trade, and this is also the other side of the story.
Yeah, very important, and because you know that's the only way to go up. Huh? And well, anyway, to my personal conclusion, I was always very strongly behind the Corpinnat movement. I fully understood what happened, and I fully understood that there could not be any life any longer inside the Deo Cava. And I think if you look at the Deo Cava now, my feeling was when all this happened, I was thinking, oh my God, the poor people of Jubei Camps, because Jubei Camps I find a very respectful house and really high quality producer. They cannot fit in Corpinnat because they buy too much grapes, etc. But in a way, I feel like, you know, they're more or less, there are a few others more or less all alone as quality producers with Deo Cava. You know, well, you work for Torres. Torres actually decided to launch a sparkling wine, but not under the Deo Cava to add insult to injury or injury to insult. You know, no, but I think for me it's all a sign. You know, it's all a sign. And finally, let's not forget that there is some Cava production outside the Penedès, of course. Well, you can agree, you cannot agree, but traditionally Rioja also had some Cava producers, and for example, Muga always produced a very decent, well-made, good quality, honest Deo Cava wine, or two actually, a white and a rosé. But Rioja finally took the step to create a new category under the DOCA Rioja Espumoso. And so Muga, as an example, will also leave the Deo Cava. Probably nobody in Catalonia cares about it because, yeah, well, you know, Cava should be Catalan anyway. Yes, maybe, but still, for me, you know, it means that yet some more quality producers are leaving the DO, and don't underestimate the power of the name Rioja. Also, it could become a big. It could become a competitor to Cava, DOC Rioja Espumoso.
Espumoso. But also but the other side of the story, I think, isn't it conflicting within itself as well? Because normally DO Cava, I think it's like it doesn't make much sense to me, because as the heart of sparkling wine production here in Spain in 1970s started in Penedès, and then almost everywhere in Spain you can produce Cava. Now, Rioja, Alicante, Valencia, although it's a minor percentage, but then why did they have the need to have the OCA Rioja Espumoso? Because they could easily produce. I mean, I think it's also conflicting within itself. Instead of being a competitor to Corpinnat, I think it's more dividing to Cava. Right, this movement.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, yes, of course. And Muga could never be a Corpinnat member anyway, because they're not. But you know, there's also, I tasted 2 years ago at Pro Wine. I tasted Rias Baixas Espumoso. It also exists, you know. So, but it's true what you said. There is Cava further south. I mean, but Rioja, from my point of view, with their climate and their grapes, especially Viura and Garnacha Blanca, they are able actually to produce maybe not the best, but really good quality sparkling wine. But if you go further south, Utiel and Extremadura, it gets very warm. I'm a little bit less convinced. Let's put it like this. But let's say that the best wines, also because Charello is a Penedès grape, that the best wines come from Penedès. That is for sure. So somebody was asking if there will be more members. Cava Barcelona is asking, will there be more
members joining, right?
Producers? Yes, for sure. You know,
I think it's just the beginning, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure how big they can be, because with the quality level that they want and the fact that they do not allow a high percentage of purchased grapes, that limits it off strongly. That limits it off a lot. So there will be plenty of producers who, let's say, maybe would like to be a member, but they can't because they do not fit that rule. But when I was when I did a tour in Penedès last year, I was visiting Albert Inoia, Can Raffles des Caus, Pares Balta. All three produce very good Cava wines, and I was thinking, you know, these three, from my point of view, could be future Corpinnat members. And it's actually one of these three which I heard would be the next member.
Getting spoilers, Frank.
No, that's why I'm naming three wineries now, because I don't want
so maybe it's gonna be 11 soon. Then who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure actually.
Here there's a question. Maria is asking, what is the average production in bottles of these Corpinnat producers? I don't know exactly, but overall I think it's only 1% the entire Cava production.
Yeah. Yes, it's something like, I remember when the Corpinnats, the original Corpinnat members stepped out in January last year. The Consejo Regulador de Cava sent out an official press release, and they actually said it's only 0.96% of our production, and basically that was another like stuck-up middle finger to Corpinnat, you know. Who cares? It's only 1%. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Torello says in total is 2.2 million amongst these 10 members.
Okay, well, and Ramona is of course by far the biggest one. I think Ramona alone will do 50% or more.
I have a Gramona here too.
Yes, great.
And actually, what I want to also mention now, as of like all the labels are going out as Corpinnat.
Exactly.
here. And also at the back of the bottle, there's a claim, Corpinnat grown in a historic Barcelona wine valley.
Yeah.
This claim has to come, and this is in Gromona, and in Torrello, again, the Corpinnat.
Yeah.
And also here, yes, grown in a historical Barcelona wine valley. So I think this is the claim that they have to have, all of them, they have to have at the back.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, and what you see now is in Spain, the first wine shops and wine lists where Corpinnat get a separate section, which is nice.
Ah, that's very nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think Grau already started with it last year, if I remember well.
For example, I had here another bottle from Recaredo. It was an old bottle, but I was keeping it. I liked it. It was, I think, it was just before it was again in the Corpinnat release, but it was not having officially the label. I think as of this year, it's going as Corpinnat every label, but it's a part of Corpinnat. Yeah, of course, it needs a bit of time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, disgorge, they say that there's also disgorging date. Yes, actually, at the back, there's also, that's a good point too, because normally you don't see it in all the cava bottles. Disgorged in January 2010. And it gives you like the examples, the varieties here, like all the information that you need for a high quality producer. And this is also transparency. I think that the difference of Corpinnat is also transparency.
Pure, yes, absolutely, which is great. Yeah. No, I think the whole idea is great, and it's not. I'm usually not advocating wineries to leave DOs, and when Artadi took that step some years ago, I was not sure what to think about it. But as I said, later on I understood, and I understand that sometimes there is no other way to go. At the same time, I can also understand that I think especially Xavi Gramona still has some hope that maybe the Consejo Regulador will adapt itself and that a future return to the Ocava is possible. Well, you should never exclude these things, but I strongly doubt that. Actually, I strongly doubt that. Yeah. But I understand Gramona. They're very big and they had the most to lose, maybe. But last time I spoke with them was actually at Wine Barcelona at the fair, and I had the impression all was well, and they did not lose any volume or market because of the fact that they left the Deocava.
Yeah, I think instead of like a lose, I think there are more positive approach and positive feedback, because in Cava, as we know globally, we know the image of Cava. It is a cheaper champagne served in weddings. Let's put it this way, So I think it is a better approach, better feedback. And then they were saying that there's tenders in the Nordic countries for Corpinnat as well. Which is quite interesting.
Actually, when I decided, as you know, I buy wines for the Russian market, so I also began to import Corpinnat from Castelroig, from Marcel, and because you have to, as I always say, you have to walk the talk. So I believe in Corpinnat, and I will support it wherever I can, and we were happy to start with it. So I think Corpinnat will find its place in the market. I'm actually very convinced. So. And anyway, the volume is not that huge, and in the high end of the market, they already found their place, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So it's very exciting. It's a very brave project to begin with. Maybe we can talk about it in another session, and then maybe we can talk about like Spanish wine movements. But I think for our session today, we touch base very good aspects of it. Yeah.
Are there any questions?
I'm just looking. There was another question, but a remark. Elizabeth is saying, I would love to see a symbol icon to accompany the Corpinnat word, something recognizable. For example, Gallo, Nero Black, Rooster, Chianti Classico uses.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is for Corpinnat producers to think about it, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like, but I like it that it is neat, that on the label, and it's very, it's easy to remember, it's easy to pronounce, Corpinnat. I think it's very catchy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There were some doubts about the name in the beginning, I have to be honest. I was also not so sure. It's, how should I say, Corpinnat is not a word that sounds well in every foreign language. But maybe that's something impossible anyway. And the Kava is, of course, the great advantage of Kava is it's really very easy to say and to remember, etc. But yeah, it's okay. People get used to Corpinnat, and it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are other complicated words, and Corpinnat is quite in many foreign languages. It is easy to pronounce.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's sometimes it sounds a bit like a registered international medication. But let's say that it is a good medication for the soul.
Yeah, and especially for the confinement, good medication for the confinement.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they say it's a matter of time. Yeah, obviously it's a matter of time. It's so new. The project, it's a baby now. It's still doing baby steps, and according to the baby steps, I think they did quite a long way. They came quite way. No?
No, definitely, and they still have many things to develop, and they are very aware of it, and these things are not always going so fast, and also between the 9 members, I mean, they go from very small like Julia Burnett to quite important like Ramona, and so you do not always have exactly the same interests and the same views, of course, but I think with a lot of good sense and goodwill. And with time, they will find their way for sure.
Exactly.
And I will support them with that.
Yeah. Perfect. Great. Thank you so much, Frank, for today's session. And we'll
thank you all.
See everyone next week. I just want to, before I finish, I just want to give a few words about this. This Charello Macabeo Pareada. Classic 3 of Torreyo. 225. Do you know what 225 means?
Probably I should, because I'm sure it has been told, but I don't know. No.
This is actually, Torreyo is Frank and I favorite cava. Every time we see each other, we drink Torreyo, and now here overseas as well, Torreyo. So this is the capacity of the barrique they use to age the first fermentation, 225 liters. So it goes into the barrique for a short while, and then the second fermentation, obviously, in the bottle. But it is really nice, floral, citrusy, but also you get some vanilla, the toasted aromas. Very nice. Good Friday champagne.
Very good.
Great.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Frank. I'll see you on Monday.
All. Best regards to Spain, and especially to all my friends in Corpinnat and in the Penedès.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Cheers to all. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.